wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of today.
Well. Next question.
When I was at work, I saw a man wearing a MAGA hat, and I said, "You're supporting the right guy." He said, "You think so?" I said, "Yes, you are." And then he said, "You know what? I got something for you." This.
It's MAGA honey.
It's Trump honey. The whole honey is made. It's Trump's face. It's Trump.
It's Trump.
This is Trump. I said, I can't even believe it. It's MAGA honey.
They Aunt Jemima Trump.
It says make honey great again.com.
Ultra MAGA.
This guy is like ultra. Yeah, it says ultra
MAGA.
Ultra MAGA on there.
This location to assassinate
Is this the
President
one? I'm
Trump,
trying
the
to-
entire
is
Secret
this the one?
Service missed it. Director Chittle, in your leadership, your
Yeah,
aims.
okay. I'm gonna set it. I don't know. I have 3 different ones.
Oh, let's watch another one.
Yeah, I'm watching this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to set it up.
Set
So I'm gonna
it up. What the? It's trying to make you laugh. You're so tired.
I'm losing it. I'm
Make you
glad.
laugh.
Okay.
Set it up.
The one with the Oversight Committee is talking to the Secret Service director and how the handling of the Trump shooting situation. I don't know who this woman is, but she laid into this woman.
Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Okay, you say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest. Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on
that. That is a no. You are being dishonest or lying. Like you're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We have asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Was this attempted assassination of Donald Trump a failure of training or execution or both?
I think that those are answers that we need to
Training,
examine.
execution, or both? Which one?
I think those are answers.
All right. How many Secret Service personnel have lost their jobs due to this colossal failure?
At this time, none.
How many Secret Service personnel have been required to take a refresher course on how not to let people shoot Donald Trump?
Our personnel are currently operational. We are examining the facts of this investigation, and we will make the changes necessary.
What time did law enforcement become aware that there was an individual on the roof with a clear line of sight to President Trump?
I am still verifying timelines.
Of course, 9 days in, you have no answers. How many minutes went by between the time law enforcement saw and took photos of crooks and the shooting? How many minutes?
I am still verifying timelines.
57 minutes.
The thing is that the American people are asking for answers. This is why they even have these committees, right? Mm-hmm. Because people are like, how can this happen to a former president, or just anybody, honestly, but a former president and a candidate running? How can this happen? But there's no responsibility on their part. Like on her part, she has no answers. She's directing them all to FBI. Like, you have to give the FBI on that. And I'm like, no, but you're the Secret Service director.
Mm-hmm. So clearly she was a patsy. They told her to take a dive.
Yeah.
This woman got paid well probably for this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You sit up there for how many hours?
4 or 5, like
taking
8
these
hours,
and you answer maybe 5% of the questions all these people ask, and you say nothing. And then it turns out she didn't even go to the scene.
Another person talked to her too, and again, no answers.
How did a 20-year-old loner with a week's notice picked the absolute best location to assassinate President Trump when the entire Secret Service missed it. Director Cheadle, in your leadership, your agency got outsmarted and outmaneuvered by a 20-year-old. How can we have any confidence that you could stop trained professionals from a nefarious nation state?
Those are absolutely questions that we need to have.
I know they're
answers
questions,
to.
but you know, the fact of the matter is we can't have that confidence. Director, do you have the ability personally, and do you have the authority to beef up security of any of your protectees?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So were you also aware there was a credible threat President Trump was facing? He was facing a heightened security threat to a foreign adversary?
Yes.
Okay. So given that there was an increased threat to President Trump's life, was he provided a full security complement akin to what a sitting U.S. president would receive?
He was provided a full complement of security based on the threat assessment that we had.
That's not my question.
And the venue.
My question is, if he'd been the sitting president, would he have had the same security he had on July 13th, or would have been beefed up?
There is a difference between the sitting president
So your answer is he didn't.
and continuity of government and the responsibility
So he
that we
did
have.
not. Okay, there wasn't a CAT team, a full CAT team on site. There wasn't counter surveillance teams on site. But this is the thing. You just said you had the ability to beef up the security. You knew about the threat, and you didn't. And that's as telling as it is chilling. We have satellite images from the Butler Fairgrounds. Have you visited the site?
No, I have not.
9 days and you have not visited the site. You should have been there that night.
9 days?
9 days.
This woman didn't even go to the site. 9 days. And she hasn't even been there. It's
This girl is completely lying.
Oh, she's completely lying.
She's not really lying. She's not saying anything.
she's just
She's taking a dive for the party.
That's it.
Because Joe Biden, the Secret Service works for Joe Biden.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting too with all this? I'm going to play the rest of it in a second. But is that they always say that, especially people, right-wing people, are like conspiracy theorists, right? Mm-hmm. And they trip me out with that. When you see stuff like this, it's like you're showing the conspiracy. It's no longer a theory. Okay, just conspiracy. I mean, like this to me just shows that why people become that. Like people are saying that. Like we have questions, and the people who are in charge don't have answers. I don't understand.
Well, I think it's appropriate. To me, it's if you don't give answers, and we're never going to know what really happened because they don't tell the truth.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But we know what happened, but they're never going to get on the news and say, "Hey, this is exactly what happened." You're never going to get that information. Just like you still don't really know what happened with JFK, but we do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just like with this when you don't tell us, then it is very appropriate for everyone to have conspiracy theories.
Right.
Because if you don't tell us the answers, well, then we have every right to do our own investigations mentally.
Yes. Why not?
Did you talk to, that evening, did you talk to the team, the heroes that surrounded the president? Did you call them that night?
They were still operational working.
So that's an answer is no. Did you call them the next day?
President. Yes, I spoke with
You called them the very next day, not the day of. Or was it 72 hours after?
I don't know the timeline, but I spoke with them
because you're under oath.
immediately following.
I think it was 72 hours after. You waited 3 days. What is immediately clear is that there are a number of structures that need to be secured. Of these, Director, other than the first, immediate 4, what's the most dangerous site that should have been secured? Because Security 101, you got to mitigate the high ground.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what the next most dangerous site, what was the closest structure to the president, other than the 4 immediate ones that you had your counter sniper teams on?
There are a number of structures around that event site.
You know who the shooter knew? The shooter has visited the site 2 more times than you have. I have never had any long gun training in my life. I own an AR-15, and last time I shot it 1 time my whole life. It was 6 years ago. That is until Saturday, where we recreated the events in Savoy, Texas. We recreated what happened in Butler. I was lying prone on a sloped roof at 130 yards at 6:30 at night. And I knew that he had a scope. I didn't know what kind, red dot or magnified. So I shot 8 rounds from both. You know what the result was? 15 out of 16 kill shots. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear. That's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed. Corey Compatore's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous. It was the nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful. And you should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
He said she should go back to Garden Doritos. No, that's because she's worked for the Pepsi company.
Yeah,
Pepsi
PepsiCo.
company. Yeah, PepsiCo, and she used to do some. I guess the director of security there or whatever she was doing over there. So
They clearly told this woman to just
Yeah.
take a dive for the team.
this is very inside. This is
Yeah.
it's an inside job. I mean, we can say
100%.
that. We can kind of say that, right, with confidence that this is an inside job. I mean, I'm saying this with confidence because this woman is sitting up there getting grilled. That was just a portion. Like, this is like 8 hours. I don't know how long it was, 4 or 8 hours, whatever it is, hours and hours of them grilling her. And all I'm thinking is, out of all those hours, you think that she gave an answer? Yeah, the answer is no. She didn't give any answers. She was directing everybody to the FBI. Oh, speaking of the FBI, I bet you think since she was directing everybody to the FBI, that maybe the FBI has some answers. No.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Was the shooter on the FBI's radar in any way prior to the assassination attempt?
We did not have any information about the shooter. He was not in our holdings before the shooting.
No communication in any chat rooms, no CIs or confidential human sources have any interaction with
No, we've run a thorough search for the subject through all of our holdings, and he was not in them anywhere.
Were there any FBI agents or informants present at the Trump rally in Butler?
Not to my knowledge.
And Mr. Jordan was talking to you about Iran. Were law enforcement resources diverted from the protection of President Trump to John Bolton as a consequence of concern that Mr. Bolton might have been the target of Iranian malign efforts?
That's really a Secret Service decision. I don't know the answer to that. That's really something they would know better. What I can tell you is that there are a number of individuals. You mentioned one who we've brought a case, a specific criminal case for the Iranians targeting for assassination. But how the
Are you going to get that
allocates-
answer to us, whether or not resources were diverted from Trump to Bolton? Is that just going to be part of your review?
I think that's going to be part of the reviews by the Inspector General.
The Inspector
and
General for DHS, right?
Of DHS
Right,
and the
I-
outside
got it.
panel.
And I think that's
after
an important point because the Inspector General for DHS has really fallen out of favor with the administration because he's been pointing out all the problems on the border with Mayorkas and Biden, and we're always kind of worried that they're about to fire him, which would be a really bad idea now that this role that you've identified is so critical. Be a bad idea to fire the IG for DHS during the pendency of this, right, Mr. Director?
I don't think that would be a good idea.
I'm with you on that. So I want to zoom out a little bit. How often do you brief President Biden?
You mean on this
No,
specific
just generally.
case?
No, in your role as FBI director.
I mean, I don't know that I could give you a number.
Is it like weekly, monthly, daily?
It's not at a regular cadence. There have been times when there have been months at a time when I haven't, and then there have been times when several days apart I have. It's always with other people.
The vice president, is she typically there?
Often has been.
Okay, so when did you notice his decline?
In my interactions, in my role, all my interactions with the current president have been completely professional.
Right, but I mean the cognitive decline. I'm not saying he treated you unprofessionally, just maybe not picking things up as quickly as he used to.
Again, I don't meet with him very often, but what you're describing is not something that I've observed during my interactions with him.
I mean, we've had it observed so often that the ranking member and Mr. Schiff on this committee have said that he could no longer continue as a candidate. And so, since you're the FBI director, I was just sort of wondering, like, who's running the country?
People watching this, if you're thinking, oh, where is he going with this? Right? That's where he's going with it.
Yeah.
Who the hell's running the country?
First of all,
why are you not briefing with him all the time? If you know, I guess it's
like what he really wants to say is, whenever you see him, he doesn't. You know, when did you notice his cognitive decline? Well, I never noticed it. You know why? Because he probably wasn't there.
Yeah.
He's probably asleep, in bed,
Right.
sedated.
Yeah.
And you were probably talking to Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Jill Biden.
Yeah.
That's why he can't say,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
look, come on, man. If he's in front of a camera
Yeah.
and he's, you know, shaking hands with people who aren't there and he's falling off stages, falling off bikes that don't move,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Can't get, you know, forgetting world leaders' names. And then suddenly you sit and talk to him and he's just completely professional.
The reason why he's even asking this is because if something like this happens, where a president can get shot or is in a situation where it is dangerous and it poses a real threat, you would think that the FBI director and the Secret Service director would have normal contact with the commander-in-chief.
I mean, do you think they would be this vague if someone took a shot at Barack Obama?
Yeah.
Or do you think that the world would demand some
answers,
and you think they would give it?
Like if something bad happened, you'd have to go brief President Biden about it right now. God forbid.
And on any number of occasions, I have briefed the president, and as I said, those briefings have all been uneventful and unremarkable.
Oh, I can imagine them being uneventful. But in the work where the vice president's also present, like you say, there's like more than half the time there's these briefings, she's there too?
I don't know if I'd said more than half the time. Certainly, there have been times where she's been present. There have been other times where she hasn't.
I take you at your word when you say this is the most complicated threat environment you've ever observed over a long career in law enforcement. And I'm just kind of wondering, with this assassination attempt, with the invasion at our border, with all the Hamas that have been let in that you've talked about and briefed about, like, is Biden up to it? And if he's not up to it, and you're a guy who's been regularly briefing him, like, who's been in on this conspiracy to hide the real Joe Biden from all of us for years? It never occurred to you that this guy wasn't up to it in all these briefings you did?
As I said, my briefings with the president have all been completely fine.
Were they between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.?
He's asked questions. There hasn't been anything of note in the area that you're talking about.
Yeah, did you ever have to brief him before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m.? We hear those are as good hours.
I certainly, times that I have briefed have included outside those hours.
Right. Okay. I just, I think the American people want to know how we got to this point with someone who's so diminished, his own party has basically put him out to pasture. And since you had close proximity and the vice president had close proximity, I'm just kind of wondering if you were being straight with all of us about how things were going with him. I guess we'll have to figure that out.
You can count on me to be straight with you, sir.
So, I mean, like, I feel like that was such a good interaction. It's exposing the fact that all these people knew that Joe Biden was in a decline, but they all, like, covered that. And there was no concern over the country. It was just a concern over keeping him a face, you know, and making sure that, they keep that facade going. And I feel that that's obviously is very dangerous.
I mean, everybody's just sort of, shuffling along and not really telling full truths.
Yeah.
And they're kind of, stuttering as they talk, not talking at all, clearly lying under oath.
Yeah, under oath.
And so, look, again, they never wanted Joe Biden in the first place. Yeah. The only reason we have Joe Biden as a president is because, the other candidate, the candidate they wanted, Kamala Harris, couldn't cut it and couldn't get any votes or any delegates. Right. And so they saw Bernie Sanders winning, and they didn't want that. And Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg dropped out because they knew that their voters would consolidate and vote for Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders, and that's what happened. They all did it, and they had to go with Joe. And Joe Biden showed dementia very early. Yeah. I mean, even when he did that, when he was trying to read that text number, and Sean Hannity made fun of it because he forgot the number 30. Yeah. I mean, Sean Hannity made fun of it, and he was showing those signs really early, and he's declined so quickly, even worse by now. And so, they will do anything for Trump not to be president. No, that was pretty funny.
All right, anyways, Trump 2024, that's for sure. Trump Vance. I have to start saying that.
Trump Vance 2024. I don't know how you guys feel about
I'm about to say that.
VP pick. I don't know. I don't know much about.
We haven't talked about Vance.
I don't know much about JD Vance.
I don't either. It was an odd pick. I think I don't know. Why do you guys think he picked him?
He was never a Trumper.
Yeah. Oh, he was. He's talked a lot of crap about Trump before.
He came to. He came to Christ too. No, I'm saying he came to grace too.
Right.
But no, I don't know much about him.
Have you guys know much about Vance? JD Vance.
I was shocked at that. I didn't really get it, but
I thought maybe because he's 39, so I thought maybe because he's younger.
I do like that he's younger.
And I know that was a big call out. That I think we even talked about that. That people need to be younger. The person who's going to be taking over, if need be, should be a bit younger. So maybe that's it. But I don't know much about his. I need to look up more about his voting record and stuff like that, 'cause I'm not sure. But if you guys know something about him, let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, you guys, that's all we have for this week. Let us know what you think about all the topics that we talked about, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave some comments below. We'll see you guys in the next video.